How's it going, my party people? Welcome back to start again. How's it going, my party people? Welcome back to another video. Axel Williams is back here as well. Today we're talking about Batman and Robin. Do you remember Batman and Robin? I mean, we've all grown up with Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, all these superheroes. Particularly, obviously, if you've been around for the past 30 years, you'll probably remember, the early Spider-Man movies of 2002 with Tobey Maguire. You'll probably remember Batman Returns and so on. But today we're going to talk about Batman and Robin, the Batman film that was made by Joel Schumacher. You know, so many of us love watching Batman, so many of us love watching these superhero movies, but Batman and Robin, and we've got to talk about it, in this video. Batman and Robin was a complete and utter mess. It was a piece of filth. Now, I can't lie, Batman and Robin is a funny film, but I don't think it's meant to be particularly funny, but it is quite funny. I mean, one thing I will say about Batman and Robin is it's got a star-studded cast. You know, you look through the cast of Batman and Robin, I mean, we are talking about some of the biggest actors in Hollywood at the time, and some of them even now, that are actually in this movie. You know, we're talking about Uma Thurman, we're talking about George Clooney, and most of all, we are talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. I mean, we're talking about a proper cast here, but this director, you know, Joel Schumacher, I mean, what was he doing? What is with this movie? And what is with George Clooney's Batman costume as well? Legend has it that George Clooney's Batman costume didn't actually have a turnable, twistable neck, so he couldn't turn his neck. He had to basically shift his whole body in order to turn his neck. So, you know, we're talking about a Batman costume that didn't even feel like it was made for a human being to even wear. I've got to add as well, why do the costumes actually have nipples on them? The costumes have nipples. I mean, look at that! I mean, watching it, I feel like it was trying to reference the 1960s Batman show. When you compare it to the other movies that came around that time, you know, Batman Forever, Batman Returns, and I'm not saying those movies are completely void of campness. I'm not saying those movies are completely void of quirkiness and being a bit kind of gimmicky and a bit daft. But Batman and Robin just took that whole thing to a completely new level. I mean, yes, George Clooney is Batman, and I suppose when you look at George Clooney as Batman, you probably think to yourself, well, you know, Bruce Wayne is a charming guy. He's quite a handsome, charming guy. Who better to play him than someone like George Clooney? But George Clooney, for me, was not a good choice as Bruce Wayne. George Clooney actually admitted himself as well that he was particularly uncomfortable in playing the role of Batman, hence slash Bruce Wayne. But to look at the guy, you'd think, you know, George Clooney, good-looking guy, charming guy, what a perfect Bruce Wayne. Obviously, you've got Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy as well. Now, when I look at her as well, I mean, I haven't seen her in too many films. I think the most notable films she's probably been in is Kill Bill 1 and 2. Not bad movies either. Might make a video on that at a separate time. But, you know, Batman and Robin, when she was in that playing as Poison Ivy, you kind of think to yourself, okay, Uma Thurman, probably a good choice. I think she could easily play the villain pretty well. But there were certain aspects of this movie that just kind of made each and every character in the film just a complete goof. And I would never in my wildest dreams have casted Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Arnold Schwarzenegger is fantastic as the Terminator in the Terminator films because that kind of suits him as an actor. He is a robotic actor, so what better role to put him in than the Terminator film? All you've got in Batman and Robin is Arnold Schwarzenegger saying quip after quip after quip after quip. Just one line. The whole film was basically a running gag reel. That's the whole film. Batman and Robin was just a running gag reel. It really was. You've got Arnold Schwarzenegger saying literally one-liners every single scene he's in. And George Clooney was also doing similar things as well. I mean, let's not mention the fact that Batman's got a bat card. A bat card. I mean, when we're talking about quirky and goofy films, when we're talking about films that kind of went way off the mark, Batman and Robin is one of those movies. Every aspect of Batman and Robin was so poorly done. I mean, it's almost like Joel Schumacher looked at everything that made the other Batman movies, like Batman Forever, Batman Returns. He looked at everything that made those, and the original, obviously. He looked at everything that made those movies quite good, in my view, semi-good, and kind of just steered away from it completely. And the introduction of Batgirl as well. Some people probably have problems with Robin, but Batgirl was introduced into Batman and Robin as well. And now, look, I can probably live with the fact that there's Batman and Robin. You know, Batman having a sidekick. I never really liked the whole sidekick idea. I think it's fit for comic books only. I don't really like to see it in a movie. I don't think it fits as well. But Batgirl, I'd never, ever would have ever wanted to see a Batgirl. You know what I mean? Robin was a stretch. To see Robin was a stretch. Robin was a moaner as well. All Robin did through Batman and Robin was complain and complain and complain. You know, how he's treated unfairly, Bruce. It's Batman and Robin, not Robin in Batman, and I'm sick of it. Oh, stop whining, faggot. And let's get on to Bane. Now, it's fair to say, Bane in the new adaptations of the Batman movies is quite different. He's a bit darker, he's a bit more gritty. I mean, it's fair to say, back in the day, the Batman movies, and how people used to make movies back then, everything's a bit more cheesy, particularly with superhero films. You look at the old Spider-Man movies, they're a bit more cheesy. Superman's a bit more cheesy. The Batman movies are very cheesy. They've got cheesy aspects to them. So we can accept that movies have came a long way. They've definitely changed and developed in certain ways. But the Bane in the original Batman and Robin, the first kind of take on Bane in a movie, just reeks of cheesiness and just goofiness. I don't know what it is. Is it the fact that all he ever does is walk around and go "Arr, arr," and show his muscles? I'm not quite sure. Or is it the fact that he starts off as this scrawny little guy and then they kind of pump this fluid into him and then he turns into this big muscly guy? I don't know what it was, but everything about Bane's character was so goofy. Even the fact that he has a tube attached to his head which they kick out at the end and then he ends up dying. It's like, really? I mean, Bane didn't even have a character. Like I said, the character Bane was just a belligerent Neanderthal who just walked around growling the whole movie. He literally is just a Neanderthal. He's just someone who growls and grunts and just walks around kind of like a caveman, and, you know, it just came across as a bit lazy, but also very, very camp. I don't know if people think about this, but Poison Ivy, let's get back onto Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy's Poison Kiss. Now, for me, that is so stupid. A poison kiss. I mean, she doesn't have a secret weapon like Mr. Freeze or, like, you know, you see other superhero villains have. She doesn't have tentacles growing out of her that, like, latches onto you and pulls you into her. No. Poison Ivy kisses you and then you die. Let's best hope she doesn't fall in love, because she's going to forget that at some point. I mean, come on, Joel Schumacher, what are you doing? I mean, even the actor Chris O'Donnell that plays Robin in Batman and Robin actually stated that he actually felt that the movie felt almost kind of rushed in its development. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. If one of your own cast members is basically accusing you of rushing a film and kind of not taking your time with it, basically thinking that the film felt like it was almost pressed to be made, maybe it probably tells you something. It kind of maybe gives you a bad sign from the off. Not to mention the fact that Alfred got ill with an illness that's not actually real. He actually got a fictional illness within the movie. Now, I've got no qualms against that, but I would have just liked to have seen Alfred appear more in this film, you know, have a bit more of a role rather than just lying in bed sick the whole time. But look, overall, Batman and Robin is a mess. It's a mess. It feels too much like the comic books. I mean, you've got Mr. Freeze who's got a frozen layer. You know, everything's kind of frozen. You've got Poison Ivy who literally lives amongst plants in like a jungle-looking environment, and it literally fits like a comic book. But the goofiness of the movie is too much. The quirkiness of the movies, the quips, the constant jokes, the constant one-liners is too much. It's too much. The movie is just way too goofy for my liking. You know, I think Joel Schumacher definitely took us off the ball while making this film. For me, it's the one Batman movie that is so bad. It really is so bad. But I don't know what you guys and girls think. You guys and girls might actually like Batman and Robin. Give me your thoughts on Batman and Robin. Did you like it? Did you think it was a good movie? And if so, why did you like it? And if not, why did you dislike it? And what is your favourite Batman movie? Let me know. And even your favourite Batman costume. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget, like and subscribe as always. I'll be back with another video very shortly for you guys and girls, so keep in tune for that. Guys and girls, I will see you very soon. Be unique, be you, and I'll see you again very shortly.